Restoring our competitiveness is vital, but tariff talks are tough. Let's take a closer look with reporter Jong Tai-wong. As you saw earlier, both President Lee Jae-myung and Prime Minister Kim Min-suk are taking a hardline stance on the negotiations. There must be a reason for that.
It seems clear that both the President and the Prime Minister are determined not to be dragged around in negotiations with the U.S. The government has made it clear that the unlimited Korea-US currency swap it originally proposed must be a prerequisite, but that resolving it does not mean the $350 billion investment issue will automatically be settled.
The unlimited currency swap is a necessary condition because the shock to our country would be too great otherwise. If that issue isn't resolved, we simply cannot move forward from there.
At the same time, they raised their rhetoric, saying the outcome of negotiations won't be known soon and that principles will not be sacrificed under deadline pressure. To gain something in negotiations, it is often better to demand a lot proactively rather than take a submissive posture. It may mean trying to win as much as possible, including visas, before tackling investment.
However, the US is showing little response to our tough stance. Yet, they are discussing a currency swap with Argentina. They are not accepting our demands, but how should we interpret this?
Exactly. It is even reported that the US itself first proposed this to Argentina, prompting criticism from the opposition here. Let's first look at Argentina's specific situation. First, Argentina's deep recession due to massive national debt may have been a factor. And there is President Milei of Argentina. His closeness to President Trump, he's even called the Trump of South America, likely influenced the decision. In fact, President Milei met with President Trump at the UN General Assembly. That contrasts with the Korea-US summit that fell through. The Wall Street Journal called it another example of Trump rewarding loyalists and punishing critics. Analysts say the US seeks leverage over Korea, where it has relatively more to gain, unlike with Argentina.
In any case, even if it takes time, it must benefit our national interest. When might these sluggish talks conclude?
Frankly, as of now, we can't say for sure. The presidential office also says it's neither optimistic nor pessimistic, noting both sides are adjusting their positions. However, it is eyeing the APEC summit where President Trump and other leaders will gather.
President Trump will attend, and there will naturally be a meeting, let's say a bilateral, between the two leaders. So for the negotiating ministers and their teams, it's an important opportunity.
Previously, ahead of a Korea-US summit, President Trump kept us on edge with last-minute surprises. It will be worth watching whether President Trump, who has been reluctant to engage, tries to stage a dramatic deal at the summit venue.
Yes, as we said, it's truly unpredictable. We'll leave it here. That was reporter Jong Tai-wong.